What's up? I just hopped out of the shower, and I was thinking about the fucking helldivers situation. So I want to talk about that. Just know the only thing in between you, me, is this fucking towel and this microphone. Just I let you know. Okay, that situation was very fucking nuts. It's one of the first time gamers have had a win in like the past 3, 4 years or so. It feels like they've constantly been like tossed aside, thrown into the fucking trash. All these shoddy releases, buggy releases, fake releases, delays, and then the game comes out and the delay wasn't worth it at all. They waited 2 years for nothing. There are people who have died in between when this game is supposed to come out and then it comes out. It, I don't know, man. It feels like they finally got a win. It's an insignificant win. It doesn't really matter at all in the grand scheme of things, but it is a win. I'm happy for them, truly. But I think what's more fucked is that speaking from like, I don't want to say speaking from experience because I haven't worked AAA. I've worked with AAA. Does that mean I've worked AAA? Like if you've contracted to AAA, does that mean you're? I don't know. I'm not a AAA developer. Never have been. I've worked alongside these people, and one of the worst fucking things about working at a big company, not just AAA, but any big company in general, is bureaucracy, bro. It feels like there's always like 2,000 middlemen between you and the person who makes the fucking decisions, and unfortunately, in those type of big environments, if you are a little man with no fucking experience, no one really listens to you. That's a bit of a pain in the ass. Because, like, these old salted veterans who have been here for 20 fucking years, the truth is they don't fucking play video games anymore. They're completely out of touch, and yet they're the people who everyone's taking their licks from. We all have to listen to them, in particular. As if they know what they're talking about. Some of them do. Some of them absolutely know what they're talking about, but, like, if you look... these days, a common trope, and I'm happy to see this, by the way. I'll talk about the walled garden of video games and, like, how developers like scared to be anything but a fucking developer, like how fucking timid these assholes are. I'll talk about that in a different video, but I'm very happy to see like the rise of game developer YouTubers, not just indie devs, but like people who've worked at AAA, like coming out and saying, "Yo, this is my process. This is how shit looks. This is how it works." Yes, it's just super cool. But like, if you listen to these older people, and no, I'm not talking about who the fuck you think I'm talking about. Tim Kaine is perfectly fine. You listen to some of these guys, it feels like they have no clue what the fuck is going on. Like they haven't played a video game ever since they got in, and it kind of makes sense because I say this all the time, and I'll continue to say this all the time. Video games are not difficult; they're time consuming, and time means that you don't have time to do other shit like take care of a family and play video games. Some people do. Some people find a healthy way to manage it. I like to think I'm one of those people. Even if people like to interpret me as a fucking slacker, which is true, I do like to slack off. I do like to take my fucking time. I don't like to rush things when I'm not sure about it. I feel balanced. I feel happy. There's a lot of games I've played that my coworkers have never played. They have no clue these games exist. Alright, not just from America, but from different countries. I play translated works, and these guys have no idea what the fuck translated work is. It's like there's a lot of aspects from video games we can learn from, and developers don't have enough time to play them, and the ones who do have time to play them are so low in the hierarchy that nobody really listens to them. I brought this up in a previous video as well, but like, game development is not a collaborative process in a lot of companies. Like in indie companies, yes, absolutely. Even the sound guy has a good idea for a level. But these big companies, no. You have a role, stick to that fucking role. If you don't stick to that role, you're going to get in trouble. I don't know how you get in trouble. Like I said, I haven't worked AAA. But speaking from like working in a big company outside of video games, you get in trouble usually with HR saying, "Hey, I see you're trying to overstep like seniority and shit, like you don't have the professions, you don't have the credentials." That kind of makes sense, you know. You don't want a fucking amateur mechanic coming in and telling you, "Hey, the fuel pump should go into the trunk of the car." What are you saying? Yeah, and then we should just route it all the way to the front. What? Dude, shut up. What I'm trying to say here is that the process is convoluted and the system is fucked from the bottom up. Like, the structure just is not there for video games to be what they once were, which is a bunch of guys coming around in their basement and making something cool. Not in the AAA space, anyway. In AAA, it's a financial endeavor. You have stockholders to please. And you can't, like, do consumer-friendly practices without potentially seeing the stock price go down, which could get you sued. I'm not a lawyer or anything, but as I understand it, it is kind of illegal to make a stock intentionally go down, even if it's for the benefit of your consumer. Your consumer doesn't come first in a business relationship. The stockholder does. That's kind of fucked. Anyway, I haven't talked about the fucking helldivers thing, no. I was just thinking about this in the shower, right? Like, I'm so happy for these guys, but I know this doesn't change anything. because the structures that are in place, the structures that made the place the way it is right now, they're still there. And I don't know if there's a way to fight that. We would have to overhaul how video games are made, how they're funded. I don't know if my collective will be able to do that, but I don't know. I have to think about it more. Yeah, now that I've leveled up, this is a completely different fucking game. Like, it's not even funny. Even without my abilities, I can sit here and face tank all of this. 15 skulls. Well, I guess I got the skulls that didn't increase damage, maybe? That's why. So, one of the things that really struck me as odd about this situation is the publisher relationship, right? Now, don't get me wrong, I hate publishers as much as the next guy. Right? Because, like I said before, this structure, this power structure that we have is unequal. It's a master-slave relationship we have here. Your publisher, even though they say it's a fucking partnership, you bow down to what the fuck they say. They tell you ABC, you better not do XYZ. They tell you to go east, you better not go west. What's so interesting about this is that usually in big companies they have a good relationship with their publisher. I guess Arrowhead is not a big company. Maybe that's the entire fucking problem. Arrowhead is a company who had a game that was potentially going to get fucking shelved. They were like, nobody played the first one, no one's going to play the fucking second one. We're kind of sort of done with this, but let's do a last hoorah and fuck off. And then Sony was like, yo, we're trying to up our initiative for games as a service. And, or maybe Arrowhead applied, I don't know. Because you can just message them and say, yo, this is our game, this game is a service, what do you think? Can we get something? And, like, if the deal is unfavorable, you'll lose your IP, you'll lose your rights, you won't really have much of a say. If the deal is favorable, then you get to keep your rights, and you get to have a lot more control. What determines if the deal goes through positive or negatively, as I understand it, speaking from a lay developer's perspective, is how much leverage you have. And that leverage comes in the form of your previous sales and your previous title and your previous credentials. Arrowhead did not have those credentials. They are a nobody developer. I don't mean that insultingly. I just mean, like, truthfully, they're a nobody developer. And so no publisher would be willing to, like, listen to them and be like, okay, yeah, you're the big dog. We're going to bow down to you. Because, like I said, there's no equal relationship in this type of thing. It's not like you have to make money. You have to give that money back. I forgot what the fuck I was saying. What I'm saying here is that without any of the previous credentials, Arrowhead did not have the ability to be able to say, no, Helldivers are RIP, you can get fucked, kick rocks, we don't do what you want. And so maybe that's why the situation ended up the way it did. Or, even more likely, the situation ended up fucked. Because a lot of people like the game. A lot more people than anyone would have anticipated. And no one was ready to handle it on their end. That's why the servers went down. That's why Sony ended up doing this stupid-ass fucking move out of nowhere, because they're trying to capitalize. I don't know if they're trying to gather data, or they're trying to up their statistics so they look good, so they can have their own leverage when it comes to negotiating raises and shit. But there's lots of things that went wrong that shouldn't have necessarily gone wrong. If it was a big company combining with a big company, like a big company collaborating with a big publisher. I say big company as if, like, you have to be large. You don't have to be large. I mean, you have to be proven. Like, you're a big dog. You know? You have that motherfucking thing on you. If you're one of those guys, you don't really have to worry about this. But because it's a small and a big, it was an equal from the start. What I was trying to say is that big dogs usually have a good relationship with their publisher. They usually don't have to go through these fucking hoops. Maybe Arrowhead did have a good relationship and they just miscommunicated. As I understand it, the situation popped off because the CEO told Sony, yo, we need to take off your little limiter bullshit because people can't get in, and it's causing too many problems. And so it was like, okay, but in 6 months we're putting it back on. And he's like, yeah, I understand that. But he didn't communicate that to the players at all. So, if we're being honest, this does kind of fall squarely on the CEO's head, of Arrowhead's head, not Sony's head. Even though gamers like to put it that way. I don't think Sony was necessarily at fault, because, you know, it's their IP. It belongs to them. It does not belong to Arrowhead. And, like, because this, like, choice in the very beginning, it set a false expectation. And that carried over to everything. That's kind of fucked. I'm sad about that. Like, expectations and precedents matter a lot to players. Like, it's like legal precedent, basically. Like, this game allows you to do, why the fuck can't I do it in this one? That matters. And, like, time precedent is even more so. Players do not like having shit taken away from them. That makes no fucking sense. Why'd you take shit away from me? Are you kidding me? It's like somebody reaching into your backpack and pulling out your laptop and walking away with it. Where are you going with that? That's mine. You can't do that. What's even worse is that, like, this was done haphazardly, and this is where I blame Sony. I don't understand how you can have a game that is played globally with no geologging, and then possibly fucking think that your shitty little US service could ever potentially mask and work around all of these countries and their various laws and fucking stipulations. That makes no sense. What were they thinking? Of course, this isn't Arrowhead's job. Arrowhead does not distribute the fucking game. It's Sony's job. So how the fuck does a distributor How does a publisher get this wrong? That's crazy to me. But they did. They got it so wrong. And like, I've seen maps of people who play this game, like showing like who's not allowed to play anymore. And it's like half the fucking world, pretty much all of Africa, half the Balkans, certain like it's ridiculous. It's absurd. Fucking Philippines, like what? And not all of these are like third world countries. Like a lot of these, not a lot of these, but some of these are first world countries. Some of these are places where like you can expect to have video games. You can expect to have constant electricity and no shutdowns and proper like fiber internet. Like these are not like backwaters. These places are important. They not that third world countries aren't important, but you know what the fuck I'm saying. Like they have solid representation in the space. They don't mean nothing. How the fuck did they get this wrong? I don't know. Maybe it's just one of the fucking costs of working at a big company. It's not like the CEO of Sony or a network administrator who works like a fucking lead network administrator was like, okay, this is how we're going to do it for this particular game. No, they probably had a standard. They're probably like, okay, this is what we do for all of our games. This is what we're going to do for this one as well. No. Just like precedent matters for gamers, precedent matters a lot for these big companies as well. Like, this is how it's always been. Why the fuck should we change it? Doesn't make sense. I'm getting shitty abilities, bro. Like, I'm not getting fucking adepts. I'm not getting upgrades. Where's my gear? Oh, I don't have good gear. I should have went to the chest before I came out here. Yikes. Okay, I understand. Yeah, shit's fucks. Sad to see it. Very sad to see it. Well, let's say even if they did have a fucking like good relationship with Sony, right? Another thing that struck me is like something that I'm surprised still isn't fixed even after all this time, but halfway not surprised actually when I say that out loud. Is that, dude, this game of telephone, of going between levels of middle management, sucks balls. I thought the AI revolution was going to, like, stop that, because all these guys lose their fucking jobs. I want to talk about community managers, and how half of them should lose their fucking job, but we're not getting to that yet. It's just striking to me that this game of telephone, where the person that communicates with the receiver of all this trash needs to necessarily have the information on hand. They have to have it. They cannot be clueless. A community manager and a moderator and HR, they should never be able to say, I don't know. I think what happened here at Arrowhead is Arrowhead's CEO went straight to fucking Sony's HR and said, yo, what the fuck is going on? No. Let's start at the bottom of the chain. Player said, what the fuck is going on, Arrowhead? Arrowhead HR said, I don't know, let me ask the CEO. And the CEO said, oh, I don't know, let me ask Sony. And they call up Sony. Sony, what the hell is going on? And Sony was like, Sony's HR answered and said, I don't know, let me go ask someone that's not the CEO. Because that's how it works in big companies. You can't walk into the CEO's office. Yo, Helldivers is dying, bro. What'd you do? What the fuck is Helldivers? That's what he would ask. What the frick were you talking? Get out of my office. It's infuriating because like for any company to run efficiently and like earn lots and lots of money, we love money, right? Money's our favorite thing. Lots and lots and lots of money. You can get all of this by being more efficient. If you're more efficient than your communications, you don't really need all this middle management. You get to save so much money by just, you know, making sense. Not having to deal with all this bullshit. I don't know. To me, it makes sense anyway. I know you can't just, like, lay people off, like, indiscriminately. I wouldn't wish out my worst enemy anyway. Layoffs are kind of fucked. But for middle management in particular, all these levels of middle management, it makes it feel like, companies that sign up with you aren't important at all. Like, you don't value them. And as a publisher, you make your entire reputation off of what games you publish. There's no publisher that exists that doesn't put out, like, games that they're proud of. Well, except for ZeniMax. Let's not talk about that. It kind of feels like, in the perfect world that I'm envisioning in my head, a publisher has a dedicated team. Maybe this is already how it is. I don't know. I haven't worked with a publisher. They have a dedicated team. I mean a real team, like every fucking role. Network administrator, HR, business communications, the sales rep, the people who are responsible for this game on the publisher's end. The people who logged in to Steam on the Sony account and put in Helldivers. That person needs to be on this team. It can't just be some fucking filler person that has no idea what the game is. And ideally, like, the publisher plays the games they publish, but whatever. I guess business is more difficult than game development. Actually, I don't know if that's true. I might not say that. But, like, they have this fucking team, and it's dedicated to this one game, and every issue this game has. Every issue that could possibly happen, this team can handle it. They have the authority to handle it. That's authority. Like, authority. They have the ability to override whatever the fuck Sony precautions or regulations and say, this is how we're going to do it. But that's scary in business because regulation is so cool. God, they love regulation. They love standardization. They love things that make sense because otherwise it seems a bit unstable and nothing drives away a. I don't have any more banishes. Nothing drives away an investor more than instability. You know what's kind of fucked about Berserker is that you have to get hit, so it's kind of like I'm incentivizing. I wish this could also trigger by just killing enough. If I kill enough skeletons, I should be able to trigger Berserk, like a kill streak of sorts. But whatever, it's fine. If that was like the real publisher relationship, I'd be super cool with that. I think that a lot of these issues that we find in video games where a publisher is doing stupid shit or bad shit, and it seems like they're harvesting data and they just hate their players, like, they don't have enough time to hate you. I truly believe that. I truly believe it's just incompetence. It's just stupidity. It's just raw. Like a lot of these companies take their business structures from tech, right? And tech gets their fucking business structures from business and like corporate offices. These things are not the same. Video games are art. Like running these businesses, running these companies as if they're not a bunch of fucking like art firms is crazy. You need art curators. You need like whatever. I'm not getting into that. There's also this thing of like the decision makers in all these companies. They usually have some type of installation. This is very rare. The Helldivers CEO is out here on the front lines with his little company, doing real shit. Like, yo, props to him. That's a lot of stress. Like, these CEOs got a lot of shit going on. There's a lot of relationship managing that goes on. There's a lot of bow-dowing. There's a lot of kowtowing. There's a lot of protecting your fucking team from outside influences. Like, I've said this before, but your job as a team lead is to insulate your team as well as lead your team. Insulating means that you have to protect them from the outside forces who are going to be like, yo, I need you to do it this way. But it completely goes against what your team usually does. Yeah, it's so important. So like a CEO who's out here on the front lines, like fighting, that's crazy. I don't know if he was always on the front lines or if he only came through after he saw the success and he's just riding the coattails saying, yeah. This was always the plan, guys. It was always the plan to make a hit, obviously. I get it. Like, there's no market viability for Helldivers. There's nothing anywhere that says, yo, if we made a game like Helldivers, this would be a massive fucking hit. Because it's a niche in the market and everyone wants to play. There's nothing like that. Like, the closest you have is Left 4 Dead. That's a squad shooter, kind of, a little. There was no mention anywhere that this was going to be viable. So I understand if he only came in at the last fucking second and said, yeah. I am the CEO. That's what I do. Like, how many abilities am I missing? I'm missing a dash and an attack. I feel sick to my stomach. In these bigger companies, like, the installation is serious. Like, it's very important that the decision maker has full autonomy, and they have no idea what the fuck is going on with the results of their actions. Because it could compromise their decision-making skills, which is why they are hired. That's why they're given the golden parachute. That's why they pay so much fucking money. Bobby Kotick, even until the last fucking breath, had no idea what he was doing to Blizzard. I truly believe that. I truly believe this guy had no idea what he was doing to the players. He's not that low level. And he never was supposed to be. And, like, he was insulated from that. Like, his coworkers kept him from that level. They never told him what the fuck was going on. Like, his fucking Twitter is not run by him. Like, he is so well insulated. That's usually how this goes. And that's usually why this shit never gets reversed. And that's kind of what I expected to happen with Sony. Like, Sony is another big company. They've always had their fucking head in the sand about a lot of different issues. It's weird that all of a sudden they're like, hey, we get it. We were wrong. That's crazy. That's nuts. Truly. I'm happy to see it happen, though, once again. I am happy that players got a win. Doesn't matter how insignificant it is. Like, a feel of a win does a lot for a community. Does a lot for hope in video games. I'm kind of hoping for, like, video games to die out, for us to have another fucking crash so we can reset, but it doesn't hurt to have a win here and there on the way. I'm trying not to open coffins because I got cursed with like -10 movement speed, and I was like, hell no, I'm never opening a coffin again. But every coffin I've opened this run has been fine. Maybe I should take more risks. Whatever, the final boss is coming up. I don't think it's gonna matter. So, community managers, buddy. These guys need to get fired. I'm not joking. I'm not. This isn't a hee hee ha ha. Those community managers, the ones who lock their account, the ones who are sitting here telling players to fuck off and complain elsewhere, buddy, they gotta go. Community manager is not an easy job. Community manager's job only really starts when the going gets tough. And if they can't handle the fucking heat, if they can't handle the pressure, they need to get the fuck out of the kitchen. It makes no sense for something like this to happen. That was absurd, the shit that I read from the community. That was unacceptable. That shit was inexcusable. It's not the first time I've seen it from Helldivers. If I was a CEO, I would be beyond fucking pissed. I would be so pissed. Of course, I'm not calling for this guy to get fired. I'm just saying that you should get fired. That's absurd. There's no way you should get away with that. There are lots of people who want to get into video games, okay? It's super competitive. Working as a community manager is an in. It gets you connections. Even if you're a fucking developer, it's a way to get to know people who could potentially give you a job in the future. So it's like, it's super fucking crazy to me that this asshole did the things he did, said the things he said, and, well, I guess some of them got demoted. Some of them went down from, like, community manager and mod to, like, straight up just normal fucking... There was one guy who, like, had allegations. Just random fucking allegations out of nowhere. Against some journalists on Twitter. And he got fucking demoted, which is good to see. That should never be acceptable. But, whatever. I guess it's fine. Because, like, the other guy, I forget all their names. Like, he apologized. He was like, guys, we're so fucking stressed. This came at the wrong fucking time for us. We didn't know. Like, yeah, I get it. You know? You apologize. I think it's understandable. That pressure is nothing to play with. But that's why it's even more important that if you can't handle the heat, bro, you need to be out of the kitchen. You cannot be in the kitchen doing this shit. Where's the night trophy? You cannot be out here doing stupid shit like that. That shit makes no sense. That's crazy. Here it is. I'm at the point where I'm only playing the red zone. That shit was disgusting to see. That shit really pissed me off. Like, community management is such an important job, and it goes, like, underpaid and undeserved. I get it. But that doesn't mean we should ever tolerate community managers like that. That type of behavior is not okay, ever. At the same time, there needs to be an overhaul of community managers, you know? Not just because, like, some of these guys need to get out of the fucking kitchen, but also because, community management is difficult enough, as is, because your job only comes into play when shit gets going. Like, shit gets tough. When shit goes wrong, that's where the community manager becomes important. Otherwise, nobody gives a fuck about you. Your job could be done with AI. No, an AI could never handle shit the way a human could when the going gets tough. That's your job. No, what I want an overhaul of is, like, a community manager's power. How many times have players had to hear, like, yo, I'm just community manager, guys. I can't do anything but relay what you say to the dev team. It's like, you can't do anything? Are you not important? Like, what the fuck are you other than a glorified tweet board, right? Like, you're just a fucking forum post that walks in on developers, hey guys, the player said this. Oh yeah, we know. Oh, okay. Then they go to the fucking desk, hey guys, the dev team say they know. Then why haven't they fucking done anything? Like, I've said this before, I don't like telephone. Telephone's stupid. A community manager should, I don't want to say they should be a developer, because that raises the bar so high. I don't think you need to know how to make video games to be able to speak on video games, like, interface with people. And it also doesn't help that some of the worst people I've ever met are programmers. You know? They're the most snarky, assholes people that I've ever fucking met are programmers. So, like, I don't think a programmer would be a good community manager ever. Maybe that was the issue in this case. I don't know. I think there's something to be said about, you know what? I want to use the bug guy. That's what I want to do. I think there's something to be said about, like, having the ability to represent players, but not having the power to act on that representation. If you feel a player sentiment, and, like, I've heard this from community managers I know anyway, they hear players, they feel players, but they can't do shit. It's kind of annoying, because the players kind of understand what they want, not always. Like, sometimes the players have no clue what the fuck they're saying, but oftentimes they do. Oftentimes, like, you'll have players that have been doing this for a while saying, hey, this thing is broken, and I think it's broken because this, and this. Sometimes players are right. And community manager, who has enough knowledge about the game and is interfacing with the developer tools in a certain way, they should be able to say, yeah, you're right, I think you're right. Or they should be able to say, no, you're bullshitting, I don't think that's it, but we're going to talk with the team, we're going to figure it out. A community manager should have some type of status, some type of power within the development team. Because a community manager is representation. It is good representation for the players. And that's a struggle in a lot of companies, because I think, actually, I don't know. I don't know why they don't have good representation. Probably because they don't fucking play video games. There's a lot of community managers that are just, like, there because, like, oh yes, I have a degree in managing people, or something. Yes, I have a sociology degree, or psychology degree. That's what I have, yes. It's like, okay, that's great and all. But I was kind of hoping for somebody who would know what the fuck they're doing. Oh yeah, I know what I'm doing. Okay. Yeah, my younger brother plays Super Mario Brothers, once upon a time. That's what you guys do, right? You make that Mario? You make the Mario game? If you're a developer, you heard that, you cringe. If you're a player, you heard that, you're going to say, there's no way that's real. I promise you that is real. Because, like, to do the job, you don't necessarily have to know the job, and blah, 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 blah. I don't know, bro. I don't know what's like this. I wish there was more power. I wish players had more representation. I wish that our industry wasn't so fucking standardized and so focused on doing XYZ by the book. I wish it was more free-flowing. Dude, what are the items I have? What are the items I have on this guy? 10% chance to get a master? Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm such a loser. I'm such a loser, bro. What the fuck? I grinded this? I don't recall grinding this. Oh, dude, I feel like such a dork. Oh, man. Okay. I'm not gonna lie. God, I think I'm done. I think I'm done. Yeah, I'm kind of in shock. I'm gonna fuck off. I'm gonna play something else. Actually, no, fucking. I'm gonna go outside. Okay. I'm gonna go to the fucking coffee shop. I'm gonna get off the fucking computer. This. Yeah. Oh god. Oh god.